Hey everybody, what's going on? This is a long-awaited video of my 1999 Audi A4 1.8 Turbo. I meant to make a video of this car close to a month ago, but I never had the time to. And this is the last day that I'm owning it, unfortunately. This was probably one of my favorite cars I've ever owned. And you're probably looking at this car like, oh wow, it actually looks like it's in pretty good shape. And the reason for that is because it has 14,000 miles on it. That is correct and true. 14,270 miles on this car. And it is a 24-year-old vehicle, almost 25. So this is a B5 facelift, A4 sedan. It is not a Quattro, unfortunately, but it is a turbo 4-cylinder, front-wheel drive. But quite frankly, I mean, the condition on this car is impeccable. It may not be a head turner itself, but condition and the upkeep of this car has been so well taken care of that I get turns from people everywhere. I went to the gas station probably like a week ago, and I parked it, and some lady in an A6 sedan was parked at the other pump, and she goes, "Hey, I really like your Audi." And I said, "Oh, thank you very much." And I said, "What do you have, an A6?" And she goes, "Yes, that's an A6." And she goes, "What is that?" And I said, "It's an A4." And she goes, "Wow, it looks really clean. Your headlights aren't even hazed over." And then I was like, "You ready for this?" And she goes, "Yeah." I said, "It has 14,000 miles. And the reaction that I get from everybody is the same. It's a jaw-dropping what or wow. And it's hard to get over because most people don't preserve cars like this. This is usually bought with the intentions of it being a daily driver. And it makes sense. I daily drove this thing for maybe a week and a half because I don't like miling up my cars that I'm going to sell. I bought this with the intention to resell it, but I liked it too much that I ended up putting tags on it and driving it. And it's just a neat little car. It's so German Audi mid-2000s analog car. And I love it. It's a 1.8 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with 150 horsepower, so it's not a speed demon, but it is very fun to drive, and it's a 5-speed manual. So let's go on a little tour of it, and you'll start to see how the condition of this car is truly unmatched throughout the video. First one being, I have 2 keys for the car, and they're both in great shape. For anybody here that's ever owned a Mark IV Volkswagen or a B5 Audi, you know that these keys fall apart easier than a leaf. It's crazy, and both of these keys are perfect. Walking up to the car, this one is equipped with the factory Audi Sport Package, and this one features the alloy 15-inch wheels. These are 205/60 R15s, and it's riding on Kumo tires on it. I really don't know how to say it. And the exterior color is not a silver. It is called melange metallic, and it's supposedly referred to as champagne colored. And it's a very neat metallic silverish gold beige exterior color. I actually really like it. When I bought this car, you know, like before I purchased it, I was like, oh, that's gonna suck. It's a stupid color. It's gonna look terrible. And when the sun hits it, it's actually a really neat looking little color, and I like it. So walking up to the A4, another thing with the condition is same thing back to my original question earlier was if anybody here have ever owned a Mark IV Jetta, Passat, or B5 Audi, you know that these cars fall apart pretty easily. The door panels will rip and fade, and the cars fall apart. This armrest breaks on every single one of them. The key, the steering wheel, everything on these cars, it's not built very well for a cosmetic kind of high mileage stuff. And because this car is like perfect, it's so crazy to me even seeing one with a working armrest, the door panel not hanging off, the key in good shape. It's irreplaceable. That's why I really like this car, and I'm really gonna miss it. But yeah, here's the interior. Ivory leather interior with the perforated sport seats. They are manual. It's a very strangely optioned car. It has alloy wheels, leather interior, the sport package with a sunroof and the sport steering wheel, but no heated seats and no Quattro. Very strange. But everybody's like, it's probably a down south car. It was originally purchased in Atlanta, Georgia. Now that we're inside the A4, typical B5 Audi in here. Now, on the higher spec A4s, this one is the Sport Package. You get this brushed aluminum trim with a nice little pattern to it. That would be wood grain on the other higher trim models. 3-spoke leather wrap steering wheel with your little Audi Sport badge down here. 5-speed manual transmission. I'll go ahead and fire it up. Like I said, it does have a 3-spoke leather wrap steering wheel with hydraulically assisted power assistant steering. 5-speed manual transmission. $14,261 miles. No warning lights. Everything in the car works, including the sunroof. See, it's tilted right now, but to open it, you can just adjust this little knob here, and it'll open. Very strange design. Volkswagen and Audi implemented that in the early 2000s until the late 2000s. So they started using that sunroof design for a while, and it didn't work. They break on almost every single one of these cars. Both of my Mark IV Jettas were broken, and my dad had a Mark IV Jetta, was broken. So Volkswagen does not know how to make an automatic sunroof, and the control is not any simpler itself. Like I said, back to the strange options. It has the Audi Concert audio system, but does not have a CD player. For $19.99, a premium luxury German car, I feel like it should have a CD player, but it doesn't. Front and rear fog lights, the most ridiculous cup hold I've ever seen, but yeah, whatever. And it has automatic climate control, but no heated seats. I don't understand the options on this car, but like I said, really strange. The heat and all that works. Temperature controls are here. Fan speed, this is for the vents right here. And then you have your defrost, front and rear defrost, different zones. It's all pretty self-explanatory. Pressing this opens up a little ashtray. Get a cigarette lighter. Storage. Emergency brake. The most ridiculous armrest of any car known to man, besides maybe Mini Cooper in the mid-2000s with their dreaded cup holder armrest situation. But Volkswagen is not much better. This is ridiculous. This is the flimsiest piece of plastic that I think the Germans could come up with, and it breaks on every single one of them. And then controlled by it, this does go up. This also breaks. The whole assembly will break, and it's terrible. It was broken in both of my Mark IV Jettas, and it was broken in my dad's Jetta. It's broken in almost every one. It breaks so often that Volkswagen started making an armrest delete kit because of how much they break. You have 2 cup holders here, but these really aren't going to fit much, but they're not as small as in my Mark III Jetta. But yeah, it's not bad. Very descriptive analog gauges, pretty simple, easy to read. All 4 windows are fully automatic, which is kind of strange. I was not expecting to see that in late 1990s. Go ahead and cut on the headlights and the front and rear fog lights, as well as the hazards. Before you say anything, I know that the fog light is out. I'm just too lazy to change it, and I don't feel like taking the bumper off to do it. More geniusness from Audi. This car is crazy. I do not want to get rid of it. Like, I'm really sad about it. I know I say that like, oh, I should have gotten rid of that car. Like, I had a Trailblazer. I was happy to get rid of that thing. I had a Jeep. I know I say that I was a little sad, but, you know, whatever. I got money out of it. Big deal. This is a car I'm genuinely sad about getting rid of, and it makes me really sad thinking about it. It's so happy German luxury. I really like it. Now, I've always been one of those people where it's like, Volkswagen, where everybody always questions you, well, if you like German cars so much, what's your favorite German luxury brand? Audi, BMW, or Mercedes? And I owned a Mercedes for a short period of time. I had an ML320 CDI. It was a long-term rental car. And you're probably like, who the hell rented you an ML320 CDI? It was my mechanic. He was putting my brakes on my BMW, and he gave me that. And I had that for about a month because he was doing more than just the brakes on my BMW. The driving experience of a BMW is unmatched. The ride quality of an Audi and Mercedes are unmatched. So thinking about that, you want a fun-to-drive luxury car, you get a BMW. You want something for the technology, you get a Mercedes. And if you want something for affordability and usually reliability, you get an Audi. But also the ride quality in this thing is insane. Even for a 24-year-old car riding on all of its original parts, it rides insane, like crazy good, which is really surprising for it being a compact premium luxury car in the late 1990s. And this body style came out in 1996. So this car was pretty ahead of its time. A little bit of history with Audi. The Audi, I believe it was the 100 or the 200, was replaced by the A4. The A4 came out in 1996 and is still in production today, but this particular generation ran from 96 until 2001 with a minor facelift in 98. Now you're probably like, well, where did you sell this thing? This is a complete unicorn of a car, and it's crazy, I know. But I sold this on Cars and Bids. I finally bit the bullet. I was going to put one of my cars on there, and I was like, I got to make sure it's the right one. I want to support Doug DeMiro. He's a really cool guy. And I really like the layout and easyability of his website. It's great. And I put this on there, and it brought $10,500. And it's on its way to Washington State, and I live on the East Coast of the United States. So it's going across country on a car carrier, and I'm never going to see it again. So, yeah, that's a little sad as well. And by the way, the taillight is not out. It is a rear fog light. See the left side here has a rear fog light. Take a look at the trunk. I have a car cover back there. And the factory warning triangle, A4 and 1.8T badging, backseat space is not very great, but yeah, back to where I bought this car from. An older woman that lived in Annapolis, Maryland. I was going door to door looking for cars to buy, and I knocked on the door asking if she had a Jeep Cherokee for sale, because, you know, she had one sitting out in front of her house. And she's like, oh, you don't want that. It's terrible. You know, it sucks. And she goes, I have this Audi, though. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. And she goes, it's a 99, but it's 5-speed. So I don't really know if you want it. And I was like, no, I do, please. And, like, tell me more about this. This was, like, getting better and better. And she goes, well, it has 14,000 miles on it. That's really all that's special. I'll be honest with you guys. I bought this thing for $4,000. Before you're like, you robbed some old lady, I offered, like, when she told me that, I was like, are you sure, like, that's what you want to get for it? And she was like, yeah, it is. She goes, I'm moving, and I can't take it with me, and I want it to go to somebody that I know knows about cars and will like this thing. And I did. I owned it for a little over a month and a half, maybe 2 months. Actually, yeah, it was 2 months. And I did enjoy it. I didn't rag on it. I didn't, hoon it. This car received the love that it deserved from me, and I gave it a full detail, and I took care of it. It was garage kept. It never saw out of the garage time. And when it was at my house, it was in the garage. But yeah, I did take care of this car, and I still will continue to until the day it leaves, which is most likely either today or tomorrow, and it's really sad. But as I'm filming this, November the 9th, it is a Thursday. The car has since been sold on Cars and Bids, and you can look up the auction if you so please. But I have a stack of service records. I have 2 keys. I have the original owner's manual, the original window sticker. I mean, the car is crazy. I mean, it's in its amazing shape. And then before we end the video, I'll show you guys the engine and a little bit more of the interior, as well as some of those things that I just mentioned. And it's so comfortable. But back to the ride quality, it is crazy. You can do 75, 80 miles an hour on the highway, and it just goes. It just rides, and it's perfect. It is a beautiful little car to ride in. We'll take a look here at our original Audi. I even have the original key tag. All the original stuff. This is where it was bought from. Jim Ellis, Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche of Atlanta, Georgia. And then here is the original window sticker. 2332. As you can see, there's the window sticker. Manual dimming mirror, sunroof controls, nap lights. A sun visor that does not pass the visor test, but it does have a little visor mirror and a light. Sunroof shade, steering wheel, those gauges, this stupid armrest, emergency brake, 5-speed manual, air vents. Does have quad airbags, or I guess I can just say it has 4 airbags. 2 in the front, 2 in the sides. It does not have side curtains, but it does have airbags in the seats. Along the front, halogen turn signals, halogen parking lights, and projector beam, low beams with halogen high beams. I'll show you under the hood. Just pull that up. And there is your 1.8 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine putting out 150 horsepower. I don't know how much torque, you can look it up. But I mean, just look at the condition. It's crazy. And then some more action of that melange metallic exterior paint color. It's gorgeous. Let's go ahead and see how it sounds. Alrighty, and that's going to conclude our full in-depth tour, walk around, startup, and all the features you have to know about the B5 1999 Audi A4 1.8 Turbo.